क्या आप जादू में यकीन रखते हैं? माइंड गेम्स, एनर्जी, ट्रांसफर में आपका यकीन है? आज उस यकीन को हम सीमेंट करेंगे, आपको दिखाएंगे थ्रू अ मेंटलिस्ट हु इज विजिटिंग फ्रॉम साउथ अफ्रीका। वो इस शो पे आके डिस्कस करेंगे कि मैजिक या मेंटलिज्म इज इट रियल और नॉट, and he will try to make some predictions which I hope he gets wrong. But check out this episode of Digitales. Larry Soffer, how are you today?
Good, and you?
Welcome to Pakistan. Welcome to Karachi. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure being here.
And I just got a chance to see you last night perform. And, I've always been a skeptic, right? I mean, we're right here in the business of media and marketing, and we understand how to create the illusion of content and sort of how to present things. I mean, there's a light here that makes me look far better than I really look in real life. So we understand the business of illusion.
So I can feel confident today, especially after a long trip.
Right, exactly. So, we're able to, in the world of marketing and psychology, we're able to play with lights, sort of objects, placements. And so we get the whole concept of illusion, but you take it a step further. You bent a spoon in front of people yesterday. You guessed something was an earring when your eyes were completely taped shut. You were able to find your way to a balloon using a knife.
And the particulars of the earring, because it was
exactly, it was very particular. And most importantly, you guessed the name of a person's friend that they had in their mind. And so up until that point, I was like, maybe there's ways I can guess, but that name threw me off. I was like, how would you have known a very Pakistani name, which you even had trouble pronouncing, but you had that in your mind? So I want to start with the background of all of this. Where did it begin? At the age of 13, you got into being a magician.
Yeah, it started at the age of 4, actually. The way I found out that I had these abilities is my mom. She really upset me one day. And when you're a 4-year-old kid, you throw a tantrum.
Yeah.
So she really irritated me, and I wanted to hit her. I was just 4 years old, just a little boy. And I wanted to hit her. I didn't touch her. I just kind of flung my hand in her direction like this. Literally didn't touch her. But the next thing, she flung up against the wall. She went up the wall, and her head... No, I'm just kidding. The truth of the matter is a lot more boring than that. But my mom's still alive, by the way. But the truth of the matter is that I got my first magic set at the age of 4.
Okay.
So I got my first magic box, fell in love with magic. I've always been very spiritual, always very spiritually aware. And yeah, we can go into that if you like, if you have any questions on that. But I went to the College of Magic at the age of 13.
So from 4 to 13, right? I want to understand that. When you got your first magic box, what did you do for those 6, 9 years? Because that's a long period of time. Because there must have been some level of commitment at that age for you to go to the College of Magicians at 13. Walk me through that period.
So, I was obviously in primary school.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys call that primary school, but
kindergarten, primary. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And I got magic books. I got magic sets. There was certain exhibitions that my parents would go to, buy me magic tricks and things like that from. And so there was always the magic shop at these exhibitions.
Yeah.
It was actually called the Design for Living at that time.
Right.
Don't know if you ever heard of that.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this was obviously a long time ago. And then eventually I wanted to go to the College of Magic. I was 9 years old, but unfortunately at that time I couldn't. My parents were going through a divorce at that time.
Right.
And so it wasn't feasible for me to go in that time period. So at the age of 13, when I got into high school, I went to the College of Magic, and I started with my course 1, which was very very much of a beginner level. So I spoke to the director of the College of Magic, and I said, look, I've learned all these tricks before. I've had magic boxes. I've had all this kinds of learning before. And so he says, well, we actually have a course called the Magic and Showmanship course, which is a crash course where you do course 1, 2, 3 and your Junior Magician's Diploma in 1 year instead of doing it in 3.
Wow.
So I did that crash course, did course 4, 5, 6 at the College of Magic as well, graduated with the highest accolade that one can achieve there. And during my studies at the College of Magic, I actually met a guy called Andy Nyman. And Andy consults for Darren Brown, and Darren Brown's UK's top mentalist. Andy, of course, is a mentalist as well. He came down from the UK to perform in Cape Town and give us a demonstration. He blew my mind. And I decided from that moment onwards that I wanted to get into mentalism because I saw it could be entertaining, it could be powerful, and just utterly mind-blowing. So this is something that I transitioned over into doing because I've always been very spiritually aware, and I know that through mentalism I can touch people in a very special place in their hearts, because my purpose is to inspire people to believe to see instead of seeing to believe. And what I mean by that is that most people say, I'll see it before I believe it. Especially like if you had to tell anybody after last night what you saw, they'll go, I have to see it first. You missed something, right?
Yeah.
So people are always having to see something in order to believe in it, but that's not the way that things are created. Things are created by having somebody believing them first. So everything that exists here today, this podcast, your company, everything that you've created in your life existed, or it exists at least, because it started from an idea. It started from a belief. So I hope to, through what I do, inspire people to believe to see instead of seeing to believe, because if you can believe to see, you can believe in your own ideas. You can then create those ideas and become the master of your own destiny.
Interesting. And so walk me through the divergence between mentalism and magic, because you started with magic, right? And my understanding is as sort of basic as anyone else's. Magic is illusion, magic is sleight of hand, magic is misdirection. It is, I do this while you do something here, right? And you did that at a very young age. And I'm assuming you spent hours on it every day. And there was no iPad at the time, so hours means hours on that.
Yeah.
And so you mastered it before you went to magic school. Then you went to magic school. So magic became the baseline for you. Mastery of misdirection, tricks, whatever, right? Props, so on and so forth. What's the divergence between that and mentalism?
So magic, like you say, sleight of hand, it's illusion. It's what you see David Copperfield do on TV, and it's fun, and it's a beautiful art form, and it can be very powerful as well. In fact, when I do any kind of magic nowadays, I like it to be as powerful and as unbelievable as the mentalism that I do, because when you see the mentalism, you go, that's not magic, that's something else, right?
Yeah.
And that's obviously the reason for your question. And mentalism is basically, for a simple definition, magic of the mind. It's everything that's possible with our mental or spiritual capabilities. That's at least what I believe. So if you could imagine a superhero with all these kinds of different powers, from reading people's minds like Professor Xavier from X-Men, and having all these other kinds of abilities to manipulate metal and substances, to predicting what you're thinking of, or to influencing your thoughts. That's what mentalism goes over. All the things that we could imagine is truly possible with the mind.
This would be very handy in global politics.
Definitely. If a lot of politicians had minds, that would work.
Interesting. So then when you completed the School of Magic, and you might sort of took that the divergent part towards mentalism, how did the training shift? How did the focus shift? What was different in that development, training, learning versus magic in practice? Because as you explained, it's, the belief, it's the mind. But as you're practicing it, you'll need other people. With magic, you can do it with props and things, and then you kind of present it. With mentalism, you need another human.
Yes.
Right? For all of it to work.
Oh, definitely.
Versus in a magic trick, I don't need a human. I need to show it to another human. But I've just done this trick right here. You get what I'm saying?
Totally. That's a very interesting observation, because with magic, like you say, it can be a trick. It can be something that can be foolproof.
Yeah.
With mentalism, it's not 100% science.
Because the subject, not the guest, the subject is the person, versus in a magic trick, the subject could be, I got this thing to move from here to here. I sawed that person in half. I, was underwater for 500 hours, whatever it was, right?
Definitely.
Mentalism, the subject is the other person that you pick at random or random,
Yeah, exactly. So, if I understand your question correctly, like, what is the difference between the two, and
And the
the
training that,
challenges?
yeah, and the challenges and the training that gets involved in that.
Yeah, so the training is very different, because as a mentalist, I deal with a variety of techniques, from reading people's body language to understanding how the mind works, to influence, intuition, etc. And you're going to experience some of that here today as well,
Right.
like you experienced last night. And we're going to try and do a few different things with you, though. But yeah, with magic, like I say, it's something that can be almost foolproof, because there's a method involved,
Right.
a physical method. But with mentalism, you're dealing with somebody's thoughts, with their mind, and you have to try and focus their thoughts exactly to particular parts of their life, in order to really get as much information as possible, and to get that information correct. So it's not 100% science. It's not something that you can get correct in every moment of
Yeah.
every performance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I heard I overheard someone yesterday ask, do you have spirits that you channel and guide, who kind of reach in and get you the information and are the medium for this? You had a response. Why don't you share that with me? You said something which struck me.
Yes, I don't remember what I said last night, except for the fact that I don't deal with spirits. I try to stay away from that.
So there is that you can deal with. That's what struck me, is that there are, the way you answered that question to me meant that there might be others who do deal with this medium that helps them retrieve information.
Oh yeah, and I could do that, and I have done it before.
And you
I
have
just
done it before.
Yes, definitely.
How does that work?
It's like communication. Like, you're a spiritual being, right?
Right,
And so am I.
right.
So we can have a mind-to-mind communication, because our thoughts are not something of this universe. Would you agree? Our
Okay.
thoughts are something of a spiritual universe,
Sure.
and that communication can still take place.
And that's a two-way communication.
Yeah.
There's no third spirit bringing that thought from, let's say, my mind to your mind.
Exactly.
There is none.
Yeah. I don't use any gin, only gin and tonic sometimes.
No, so is there a practice of using a third medium?
There is an art form in that regard, and that's more for the psychic, for the spiritualist in that way. Mine is more of a personal,
Right.
quiet, silent communication between our two minds. So
Got
I get you to think of something, and I can see what you're thinking of, or I can influence your thoughts to go in a particular direction. I can also perceive my environment, like you saw when I was blindfolded last night, without physically seeing what's around me. There's lots of those demonstrations that I do in my performance. And like I say, I do all of it to inspire people to believe that anything is possible. Because I hope that people, when they see it, they go, if that's possible, what else is possible? What can we achieve in our lives?
Right.
Maybe all our dreams are truly possible if these impossible things are
Right.
able to be achieved.
Right.
So,
Interesting.
so yeah, so I steer away from the spiritual side of things, because things do get a little bit kind of freaky and weird in
Really?
some instances, and they do get very emotional. And mostly what I do is actually corporate events.
Yeah.
So in the corporate market, it's not so
Yeah. Makes sense.
it wouldn't work so well
It
to go
needs
down
yeah.
to go down the spiritual route. And also, it's not the best thing to see somebody starting to cry on
Yeah.
stage, especially when they're thinking of their passed on loved one.
Yeah.
So I steer away from that completely, and it's just a mind-to-mind communication between myself and the audience.
How is this different? You brought up psychics, or card readers or whatever. How is this mentalism different from that?
It's different in the way that it's presented, because a psychic would connect more on a spiritual sense with other spirits, right? It's also because you would get people practicing different art forms or different practices, right? Like you would get a psychic, you would get a clairvoyant. A clairvoyant would demonstrate different abilities to a psychic. So there's different, basically, practices, if you will.
Mhm.
So mentalism is just a different practice, but it does also encompass all of that, if that makes sense.
So you're touching on a little bit of the clairvoyance. Explain the difference between clairvoyance and a psychic.
So clairvoyance is when you're perceiving your environment, like you saw last night when I was blindfolded, and you're perceiving. It also has to do with perceiving emotions of that environment. I'm sure you've seen it in the movies when a clairvoyant will go onto a crime scene, and he or she will touch the
Yes.
environment, touch things, and pick up emotions and get pictures of what occurred on that crime scene, right?
Right.
So that's clairvoyance. It's also being able to perceive the environment without physically seeing it. A psychic is somebody who connects with spirits, like a medium.
Like a third spirit.
Yes. Yeah. And I could not be a medium, unfortunately, because I'm a large.
Okay, got it. Interesting. So psychics, clairvoyance, and then mentalism is rather than perceive the environment, it takes a little bit of that. Rather than dealing with a third medium, it works directly with the spirit of the person across from them
Exactly.
by sort of guiding them to the direction that you want them to head in.
Exactly. Either that with influence or actually perceiving what you're thinking.
See, the influence part, I'll still, I'm such a skeptic, right? The influence part, I can still justify, right? It's the
Yeah.
see to believe point.
Yeah.
But the other part that you said that I will actually read it,
Yeah.
that part just, it's, you need to convert me into a belief to see, which
Yeah.
is, you did a bit of that. I was like, there's no way you could have guessed that word. There's no way. Like, it was on Wikipedia. It was not even some random website.
Yeah.
So, okay, interesting. Got it. And so when you diverge from magic to this, and this is a little unpredictable because you're dealing with an audience that is also the subject in a way, right?
Hmm.
Tell me of a time when in your early days or your shows or even recently, have you ever not been able to predict or tell? And how do you navigate through that challenge? Because everyone's looking at that time, right?
I think in moments like that, it becomes a lot more believable because even people spoke to me last night after the show and they said, at the beginning, I was so skeptical. I was like, no, I don't know if I believe in this. And that's always a barrier that I would have to get through as a mentalist.
Right.
If a magician's on stage, nobody's going to really be skeptical about it because not skeptical in that way, at least. They're not going to be skeptical of whether it's true or not. They know
Right.
that magic is magic and that's it, right?
Right.
But as a mentalist, I have to break through that barrier because people start to see something that's so impossible and they go, well, that can't be possible. And then as the show goes on, they start to go, wait a minute, it's happening again and again and in that way and in this way. And eventually they have to start understanding that maybe this is real. And it's not my purpose to prove to people whether it's real or not. My purpose, like I say, is to inspire people to believe in the impossible, to believe to see instead of seeing to believe. And so that's my whole purpose, is to really uplift people into another headspace, another spiritual space, if you will, a space of inspiration. In fact, I don't know if you know what the word inspiration comes from, where it comes from.
It's probably spirit.
So
The base word must be spirit.
it's something very similar to that. It means to be filled with spirit.
Okay.
Yeah. So so it's toward.
Yes.
And spire is of the spirit. So to
Yeah.
be filled with spirit. So I
Yeah.
hope to fill other
Right.
people with the spirit of believing in the impossible.
And so, you know what this reminds me of as you're saying this? There was a time when everyone on this planet believed the earth was flat and that you'd fall off the edge
Yeah.
until they started sort of navigating the globe on a ship, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so up until that point, maps kind of like just had a drop off.
Yeah.
Someone somewhere had to believe
Yeah.
that, hey, let's go check out whether you actually fall off or not.
Exactly.
And then they realized that, well, actually the world is round.
Yeah, exactly. Have you seen the movie or the documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know?
No, I have not.
It's a very, very cool documentary. And there's a story there where the tribes people could not see these ships off in the distance. But the shaman, the Indian medicine man,
Mm-hmm.
was so aware of his environment that he could see these ships there, but the people couldn't. And as he started to describe these ships to the people, they started to appear.
Mm.
But they didn't actually appear. It was just out of these people's reality. And his reality was so aware, if you will, that he could see things that others couldn't. And he started to describe it. And as he described it, it started to become real to them because it's something that they've never seen before. And they started to appear, but they were always there. So I'm sure you've walked through the street or driven through town and gone, wow, I've never seen that building there before.
Yeah. Because it was never part of your reality. It's kind of,
Yeah.
how does this connect to manifestation?
I believe that our life is basically created by our thoughts. So what we think is what we make real. Whether it's a negative thought or whether it's a positive thought, what we believe in our mind is what happens in reality. How many things have you got today which you never had maybe 20 years ago that you decided that you were going to achieve back then that you now have?
But I have you on this podcast. And 5 years ago, I would have never imagined that this would even be here.
Exactly.
Until I started imagining it.
Exactly. And you can ask yourself the question for everybody back home, how many things do you have now that you wanted 5, 10, 20 years ago that you actually have now? Maybe not everything, but a lot of it, but it all started with a thought.
So as I'm reconciling this, right, what I'm taking away from what you're saying is like manifestation, like belief, right, that you want to take a big belief, we'll put man on the moon. We'll take a bigger belief that, we would all be connected on the planet using a device this big that's instantly, sort of bringing connection and community, right? What you're saying is that as long as you bring something to the forefront of the mind and you manifest and believe in it, there is a possibility of it becoming real, right? And mentalism is the same way for you because you believed that you would be able to create this space and interaction where you can achieve certain outcomes with other people.
Yeah.
And because you're hyper focused on that and no one else you're able to see pathways and outs that none of us can ever see because you started at 4, you spend hours every day on this. And so 40 years, let's say 39 years later, today, you are way ahead. You're like 20,000, 30,000 hours in to this, and we're like 1 hour in.
I know exactly what you mean, and it's absolutely true. And so to answer that question eventually on a roundabout route is that when things do go wrong, it's sometimes even more believable. That's the simple answer to that, because people go, wow, that wasn't a trick.
Yeah.
That was, or if I got it slightly wrong.
Yeah.
It's not something that I try to do, but it is something that does happen. And people come up to me and they go, wow, like,
yeah,
I thought that it wasn't real, but you didn't get that name 100%, but you almost got it. You must have been hearing his thoughts.
Yeah.
On some sort of level.
Yeah.
So it does make it more real. It's not, like I say, it's not something that I try to do. And I always try to make what I do as close to perfect as possible.
So the people interaction, I can understand you're playing with a person, there's cues, there's nuances. Got it. You made a monument, a 3.3 million cubic foot monument move. The Voortrekker monument?
The Voortrekker monument in Victoria, yes.
In Victoria. How did you think of doing something like that? And how did you pull that off?
So we had guys on the other side of the hill with big ropes, got them to pull it off the stand, and then we had to get a helicopter to raise it back on again. That's how we made it disappear. I'm just kidding.
That's Where's the mind trick in that?
No, that was an illusion. It was a big illusion, like David Copperfield would do when
Yeah.
he made the Statue of Liberty disappear. In fact, David Copperfield's consultant for his 20 years, or during his 20 years of fame, helped me out with that illusion. The guy's name is Don Wayne. So he helped me pull off that illusion. He's the same guy who's helped David Copperfield on all the illusions that he created throughout his 20 years of main fame in the media. Of course, David Copperfield's still famous, but it was during that time period when he was on TV for that 20-year period.
And the illusion is different from mentalism.
Definitely. So illusion and magic is very similar. Big stage illusions are just a kind of like an enlargement of the sleight of hand that you would see. Obviously, the methods and everything in that regard would be different because what you would do with your hands is very different to what you would do on stage, but the concepts are very similar.
Got it. Okay, so then if I was to summarize this field, the subcategories of, let's say, if the field is magic, or no, I don't know what to call the field, but let's say there's magic, there's illusion, there's mentalism, and then on the spiritual side there's psychics and there's clairvoyance. Is there anything I'm missing in this?
There's definitely other terms, but those other terms would fall within what a psychic or a clairvoyant or a mentalist would do.
Right.
Like telekinesis, for example.
What is telekinesis?
Telekinesis is being able to move objects without touching them, being able to move objects with the power of the mind.
You shattered a glass yesterday. Was that telekinesis?
Exactly. Or when I touched one person and the other person felt it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird too. And you can do that on, let's say, on command.
Pretty much.
Really? Could you move that bottle? Like, would you be able to move an object here?
Well, you've got some coins here on the table. Do you want to take one of these 2 rands and
Sure.
try and this is a coin from South Africa, but you can feel that they're solid coins, right?
Yeah, I had these guys check it out too.
Okay, good.
All right.
And can you physically bend it?
I mean, I'm trying my level best, but absolutely not.
Not possible, right?
Yeah. Right? You couldn't bend it either.
So you're going to put your initials on both sides of the coin, just so you know it's exactly the same coin.
Okay.
And do you mind if I stand up for this? Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm going to bend down a little bit like
No,
this.
we'll get the mic to crop up a little bit.
Okay.
You can pull it up.
I can do that?
Mm-hmm.
Just do this. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. So you've put your initials on both sides of the coin. Do you want to show the camera? Okay, cool. And let's see. So that's an F and an S, right? For Faizan Sayed, right? So Faizan, you've tried to take this coin. You've tried to physically bend it. You know it's impossible, right? Could you open up your hand there for me? And I wonder if I could get you to lean a little bit forward, So you're going to hold on to the coin. Squeeze tight. So squeeze really tight and turn your hand over like this. And bring your hand toward me. And you're going to feel like an energy around your hand. Tell me when you feel this. Do you feel that? You'll feel something. Don't worry. Let me just move this a little bit over here like this. Like a fuzzy sensation. Do you feel that?
Not yet.
You'll feel something. Do you feel any kind of warmth?
Yeah, now I feel it.
You do feel that? So tell me when you feel this. They're like a heat. Can you feel that? Yeah. And can you feel that becoming like a pressure of sorts? Yeah. That pressure is actually energy moving through your fingertips into the coin, making it so soft that it's starting to melt and mold around your fingertips. Now, you won't necessarily feel the coin becoming hot, but you'll feel the coin starting to mold around your fingertips. So slowly start to move your fingers, and you'll feel that coin's not quite straight anymore. It's starting to bend. Can you feel that? You can feel that? It's kind of starting to change shape, right? Yes, that's very good. Open up your hand. And look, let me do this in front of the camera over here. You can see that that's actually, oh, sorry, it's a little bit warm. It's actually bent. It's been bending inside your hand, and you can actually see it bending even further. Look at that.
Wow.
Can you see that? Look at that.
That's crazy.
Can you straighten it?
No.
Not possible, right?
Right, though. Yeah. It's crazy.
You'll probably need to run that over the train to make it straight. And it shows you how weak the rand is.
Oh, we've got some Pakistani.
Yeah, exactly.
Give it some competition.
Yeah.
You have my attention.
That's good. That's good.
So that's telekinesis.
That would be a demonstration of telekinesis. And people ask, well, how do you bend the metal? Does it get hot? Do you use certain chemicals, anything? And you can see there's no chemicals on that. There's no heat that was happening in your hand. You could feel it.
And you would pick these coins off of the audience and...
Exactly. Exactly. Like you saw last night with the forks. I asked if I could use some of the forks off the table, but I wasn't allowed to for that particular event. And so...
So then there's telekinesis, which is this. There is magic. Within magic, there's illusion, or illusion is separate.
Illusion and sleight of hand is pretty much the same thing. You're just creating illusions in different ways.
Which is different from magic itself.
All magic.
All part of magic,
all
right?
part of magic.
It's different from telekinesis.
Exactly. This is something very different. You could see there was no sleight of hand. It's the same coin with your initials on it, right?
So it's telekinesis, magic. Then there's mentalism. And then more on the spiritual, emotional side is the psychic and clairvoyance.
Exactly.
And that's sort of...
And for me, mentalism encompasses all of that. I know certain mentalists are more psychological mentalists, so they deal only in the psychological aspect of things, influence.
Right.
No intuition would fall into that, but that would be influence, body language, micro expressions, microfacial expressions.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So you've done mentalism. Tell me about a time when it went wrong.
Where it went wrong. So there hasn't been a particular time which really stands out for me. There's been many instances where I don't necessarily get the person's name correctly.
Right.
Or I just can't read the person at all.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it has happened in this regard where a person will think of something, but try to throw me off. So sometimes you just got those people in the audience, you know, and they try to ruin the show for everyone. So
they'll start by thinking of X and they'll switch to Y.
Yeah, or they are thinking of X, but they say that they're not.
Yeah.
And they're thinking of something else, or whatever it is, or maybe they don't follow the instructions correctly, and they start wandering off with their thoughts to something totally different. So those kinds of things do happen,
right?
And that's why it's not an exact science, because you're dealing with a person in front of you,
right?
Where the communication may not have been received on their side so clearly, or they were just trying to mess you up, you know, which does happen, unfortunately. But it's all part of the game.
What's one of the biggest myths you deal with about your field and profession?
I think the biggest or the main myth or thought that people have is that mentalism is like magic, and that there must be some sort of a trick involved. But when people see it, they go, well, that wasn't sleight of hand. Nothing went up his sleeve. You know, like you can see here, the coin has your initials on it. This happened in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And you felt that heat and that energy around your hand, right? So that's something that I've dealt with for quite a while, where people initially think, no, there must be some sort of a trick behind it, or maybe there's some sort of a psychological technique. But then they go, but how did you get that person's name?
Yeah, that's where I got stuck. I say, how did you get that person's name?
Or the particular details about the person.
Yeah, interesting. So this profession, right? has been around for centuries.
Mm.
I mean, it was perhaps a form of entertainment, perhaps a form of income, perhaps a form of influence, whatever you want to call it. Way back, centuries ago, kingdoms, rulers in the courts, people coming in. And so there's lineage of this profession in families as well. Until the digital medium changed how we receive entertainment.
Yes.
Right? Because part of this profession is also entertainment, part of this profession is belief, and there's a whole other side to it. How does it affect your work now that YouTube has channels based on magician reveals, mentalism reveals, and they actually break down every single trick and say, hey, here's how the fork was bent, here's how they guessed the name, here's how this, and this.
It actually makes what I do so much more powerful, because many people want to find out whether it's a trick or not.
Yeah.
And they want to search the internet to see how is this done. And they find trick methods, magic methods of doing something similar, but they know that that wasn't what they saw me do. And so then I have this so many times that people actually come up to me and they go, I tried to find you out. I tried to actually search the internet to see how you did these things, and I literally couldn't find anything. Whatever I did find was some silly trick, which was so different to what you do. What you do, and without blowing my own trumpet or anything, but they say I could see that what you do looked so real.
Right.
But what they were doing was having a fork that was already broken, for example, or doing something that was of a trick method, other than what they saw actually happen in front of them.
Right.
And so it makes what I do very, very powerful.
And how do you see this with the digital medium? And so it's given, it's democratized the ability for people who, like yourself, were 4-year-olds sitting at home playing with magic, to be able to come and perform on a camera and create a YouTube channel and start monetizing and so on. How has that pushed the limits of what is achievable in this space? Because I'm assuming there's a lot more competition out there. Audiences are much easier to get because I can build an audience on my YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
So that means I must do something really crazy, because otherwise I'm competing with these million other guys from across the world with their own YouTube channels.
So how has that made it a challenge for me?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Like, do you have to start pushing the envelope of the kind of tricks you're presenting?
I've always done that. So whatever I have done or whatever I do, I try to make whatever I do be the most impossible that it can be. Because I've been in all kinds of situations, and my purpose, like I say, is to inspire people to believe in the impossible.
Right.
So what I do has to be received as something so impossible. So even though it is impossible, the presentation and the just the whole effect that I'm creating has to really be so memorable for the audience member in their mind. And so that's what I'm always working on.
Right.
So it hasn't really changed much for me on social media or anything like that. Of course, on social media, there's lots of AI now, and we have CGI effects from before AI, and so you never know what is really real. And I have that that kind of response coming to me as well. People say, "Well, I saw this on social media, or I saw it on TV before it was TV and not social media," and they would go, "I never believed it because there could be a camera trick, or right now there can be AI or CGI, but now I'm seeing it happen right here in front of me." So it actually. When people see it in person, it strengthens what I do so much. So the social media medium doesn't really change that very much from one perspective. On the other perspective, like I said, I really try to make what I do so impossible that it stays as a memory in somebody's mind. I mean, even the lady who hired me for last night, Samira, such a wonderful, wonderful person. And she saw me 8 years ago. But what I did for her, and once again, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but this is just the effect that I'm trying to create on people. It was so memorable for her that she remembered my name. She lost my business card, but she was able to find me on social media and reconnect. And I was able to be here last night.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Amazing. One other question, sort of an adjacent question to magic, right? So you keep talking about magic as an art form that is practiced. You got your first like magic kit when you were 4. You went to magic school, sleight of hand, misdirection, tricks, and so on. On the other hand, in a country like Pakistan, right? In our religion, there's this whole other concept of black magic. They use words like jadoo tona. Jadoo means magic. They talk about magic being connected to the supernatural, being able to put someone under a spell. How is that part, if you've explored, that I'm describing, that is perceived to be everything that magic is here, different from the magic you practiced as a child and into magic school?
Well, that magic that I practice is very, very different because it is just sleight of hand, illusion, that kind of thing.
Right.
As a mentalist, some people may think it goes into that kind of spiritual realm, but like I say, I use a variety of techniques that I believe that we all have. We all have the ability to observe the person in front of us and see their microfacial expressions, see their body language. We're able to influence each other's thoughts. In fact, you deal with that in marketing, right?
Correct.
And we all have intuitive capabilities as well, whether you're a man or a woman. I know it's more prominent within the female realm of things, but we all have these abilities where like I gave examples last night, where we finished somebody else's sentence before they even said it, right?
Right.
Or maybe they were halfway through their sentence and we knew what they were going to say. Or maybe we thought of somebody and they were calling us at the same time that we were calling them.
Right.
Or we thought of our old friend or work colleague, I'm sure it's happened to you, where you thought of that person and the next thing you bumped into them in a restaurant somewhere.
Right.
So I believe that we all have these abilities, and especially if you haven't seen that friend or work colleague for months or years, it makes it seem more than coincidence. And I believe that it is more than coincidence. I believe that we are very powerful spiritual beings with infinite capabilities to achieve whatever we want in our life.
And how is this different from the other side of magic where you put people under a spell, or that's the more spiritual side? I mean, because that is perceived to be not instant, right? What we're discussing is more instant in the moment. It's concluded, we move on. The other one that I'm bringing up is more like, I've put you under
a spell. An evil spell. Or
now you're influenced by that for the next foreseeable future, unless you undo it in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Do you believe that that is possible too?
I don't believe that anybody else's intention or spell or anything like that can have an effect on our life unless we agree to it.
So, okay. So you're saying that it is possible if I allow myself to believe it is possible.
Exactly. Or if somebody, I think that's also the danger of going to a psychic, because a psychic could say, you're going to get knocked over by a bus in the next few weeks, or there's going to be some sort of traumatic experience, and you start to worry about it, and this is a self-manifesting kind of creation, because the person has managed to make you believe so much so that this negative thing is going to happen, and then it happens. But it's something that you've created because you've gone into agreement with what that other person said.
So the choice resides with us.
Exactly.
Always.
Our lives are a composition of our choices and of our thoughts. Because with thoughts comes action, right?
Right. Interesting. So, I mean, I told you I was a bit of a skeptic, but you've tried. I want to transition into seeing what you have been talking about put to practice. And I don't know which one you want to start with. I know you made me do a little bit of homework before this.
Yeah, totally. So, people ask me with these abilities, especially with these mind-reading abilities that I have, do I ever go and gamble?
Yeah.
And I do.
Yeah.
And sometimes I win and sometimes the casino loses. Okay. So I actually got a gift dice from a casino one day. It's a little box made into a dice. You can put your finger inside.
Right.
Just kidding. Nothing inside there, right? So Faizan, you're going to choose a number. Whatever number you choose, you're going to bring it to the top. So if you chose number 1, you do that, or 5, or 6, or 4, or 3, or 2. I've shown you all numbers, so you know I'm not influencing your thoughts.
Right.
You're going to let the guys in the studio here see by bringing the number to the top, so there's no way that they could think it's any other number. They know it's the one on top. Then you're going to cover your hand over it so I can't see, all right?
Okay.
So you're going to take the dice.
The number I want.
Yeah, pick it, bring it to the top, let them see, let them know exactly what it is, and then cover your hand over it so I can't see. But don't let me see. I'm going to turn away, okay?
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay, you got something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, most people go for 4 the first time around. That's what you did? Okay, good. Good. So look, maybe I could just read you too easily the first time. So try it again. You got numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Change your mind as many times as you want.
Okay.
You got something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, immediately when I look at you, I know, and you were telling me earlier on, there's a skeptical side to you, especially about what I've been doing and what you saw last night. And most skeptical people try to trick me the second time around, so they stay with the same number. Yes. If you want to try one more time for good luck, we can, or we can take this a little bit further. Would you like to do that?
Okay, I'll try once more.
You want to try once more? Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I think initially you wanted to stay with number 4 again, like momentarily. You were like, should I do it a third time? But then you thought, no, you'll change. And I know there's a creative side to you, and most creative people will go for an aesthetic looking number like a 5 or a 6. I think momentarily you wanted to go for number 5, and then you changed to number 6. Yes.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That actually is. Okay, we're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there.
So, I mean, I could take this even further with you, and maybe what we could do is I could get you to think of somebody really important in your life,
Yeah.
somebody who has a special place in your heart,
Yeah.
somebody who you know a lot of information about, somebody who's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
You got somebody in your mind?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Now, I'm getting that you were thinking of 2 different people.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a family member, isn't it?
No.
The other person was a family member.
Mm-mm.
Not. Okay, interesting. Okay, look at me. This is a female?
Mm-mm.
Are they both males?
No, no.
One is female
One is a male. Yeah.
and one is female.
Mhm.
Because I got like 2 different thoughts in your mind. So one was a female, one was a male.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Look at me. Okay, this is a good friend of yours,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm getting like a very close connection.
Mm-hmm.
Am I getting this correct when I'm saying that you worked together or you used to work together or something like that? There was a project that you were both working on at some point.
Mm-mm.
I don't know why I'm getting that. Or is it something where you both have the same interest?
Not interest, not work.
Wow, interesting. Okay, and I think what's throwing me off here is that you were thinking of 2 different people. Just think of the amount of letters in the name.
In the first name?
Well, in the name that you got in your head right now, the person
Yeah.
that's important in your life.
Yeah.
Is this the male?
Yeah.
The male, yes. It's like just think it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters.
Mm-hmm.
5 letters? Good. Okay, I want you to imagine some of the letters in the name, just switch them around a little bit. Okay, you were looking at an A, but you decided to go to an R. In fact, you went to the R first, then to an A, then back to the R. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
When you see Faraz again, tell him I say hi.
There's no way you could have known that.
Okay. And when you were moving through these thoughts, okay, I'm getting that there was an R in some name that you were thinking of.
For us.
Faraz. And was there an R in some other person's name?
That was earlier.
Earlier. Okay, you were thinking of this person earlier.
No, when we were
Yeah.
doing our little practice session earlier.
Exactly. So I was
You asked me to think of my first crush.
of your first crush.
And you
I
made me
see.
write that
So is
down.
that what I was getting?
The R.
The R. Okay, cool. Okay, great. Okay, so I was getting that in your mind. So you're thinking of your first crush. This happened when you were pretty young, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And you wrote that person's name down.
It's in my
and
pocket.
and it's in your pocket. And that was when we did that early on, because I was getting a few different names in your head. That's cool. So can you show us that piece of paper right now that's in your pocket? Not that one just yet, but the one that's in your pocket. Okay, interesting. Okay, and don't open it up just yet. Just so everybody knows, I got you to write down your first crush's name, right?
Correct.
You didn't write down Faraz's name?
No.
Nothing like that, right? I was out of the room when you wrote down your first crush's name, and this wallet was inside the room
Yeah, right there.
the entire time, right? I hadn't touched it.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the first letter of each name,
Oh, shit.
it says Surur.
Yeah, you got me. That's true. You got me. I'm stumped. I have no answer. I don't know how that's possible. There's no way, unless I gave away some cues in the way I was. But then how would I?
But
how
remember,
can-
I gave you the wallet before you even thought of this person's
yeah,
name.
the wallet has been here throughout the show.
Yeah, I got you to hold on to it, told you don't look inside because it's a surprise till later, right?
Yeah. How is this possible?
Now,
No, but I'm just trying to figure out what did I give you for you to have picked up this at the beginning. Like, what did I give you? Like, what was it that I gave you? I didn't give anything unless I gave a cue or a clue or I squinted a certain way or I. But those are not letters. right?
exactly. And that's why I say, as a mentalist, part of what I do is using intuition as well.
But intuition would require some prior knowledge, right? I mean, there is this. This is not possible. This is a name that I haven't even thought of in a while, right? So, it's taking back into a childhood memory.
Would it require some prior knowledge? I'm sure you've experienced where a woman thinks, oh, something's happening to a child, or
Yeah.
there's some sort of feeling that she
Yeah.
has that something
Of
bad
course.
is going to happen. Don't go in that direction. Rather, let's take this road.
But you had this written down before. So where I'm confused is you knew I was going to write this name down before even I knew I was going to write this name.
Exactly. And we can give you another demonstration of this if you like. Can you think of a celebrity?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So right now you've got a celebrity in your
Is it
head.
the same one I thought of earlier when you asked me?
Yeah, so I asked you if you could think of a celebrity. You didn't tell me what the celebrity's
didn't.
name was going to be. I said we're going to go through a few different thoughts. I don't want you to be nervous in any way. So just fix your mind on a particular celebrity.
Can I
that's
change
correct,
that
right?
celebrity?
You could, but you thought of a celebrity before, right?
Yes, I did.
And you've seen I haven't been on my phone
No.
the entire time. Everything's been fair.
No.
Even when I was speaking with
Yep.
you, I wasn't on my phone,
Yep.
right? Before we even got started with this podcast, I
Yep.
went onto my Instagram
Yeah.
and I wrote down a prediction. I
Yeah.
didn't put this prediction in a post amongst thousands of posts.
Yeah.
I set it in stone in my Instagram bio, so there's no way that I could easily change it.
Okay. So you want me to open?
I'm not even going to ask you, because I was going to say for the first time, reveal your celebrity's name, but don't do that, actually. I'm hoping that I got your celebrity's name correct. Do the guys here in studio know who the celebrity is?
Did I show you? I mean, I'll show you.
So you search for the person on the internet,
I did
right?
search, yeah.
Okay, cool. So don't show me. Okay, great. So there's no way that I could have known who you searched for. I didn't even know that you have that there, right? So do you have Instagram?
Yeah.
Can you go onto your Instagram for me?
Yep. I have I have you.
Go into my...
Holy shit. You've got to be kidding.
Can you read out word for word? What does it say?
I believe Faizan will think of Ryan Reynolds. Follow me to experience the impossible.
And that's who you thought of?
True. Stumped. The limits of my thinking have ended. My mind is not aware of ways that that's possible. So now I have a choice, right? Because I have seen, I have to believe. Or I can choose to continue to be a skeptic and figure out, oh, there must be this way, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure there is a way. It's just I have not been exposed to that way. And had I had the kind of experience in your childhood or in your life, perhaps maybe I would have had this ability as well. Or anyone could, right? Unless you truly are from outer space.
Maybe.
This is unreal. I mean, this is real Instagram. I don't know what to say about this. It's crazy. Can I ask how? Like, can I ask? I mean, I know a magician is never supposed to tell their tricks, but if I was to directionally try to build this skill set, what is it that I would need to focus on?
Well, there's so many as a mentalist, because this you can see.
And not that I want to be a mentalist, but what if I want to apply this in another part of my life?
You already do. You already do. And
this level, I mean, this is specific.
Yeah.
Right? You wrote a sentence with 2 words, like the guy's full name, not just even like, hey, you would think of this guy. This was specific. This, to me, is almost impossible. But it's not, because you made it happen. So
Exactly. And like I say, I believe that anything that we truly believe in is truly possible. All we have to do is truly believe. So I believe that true belief is certainty. When you're absolutely certain about something, that's the moment in which it happens. If you have any doubt in your mind, that's where things go awry, where things don't go the way you really wanted it to. Correct? And so, how many things have you been certain of in your life that you've created? In the marketing arena, we were speaking early on, like you have the ability to get people to think a certain way, or get people to want certain things, right? So these are techniques that a mentalist use, and it's something that you can use in your life. It's something that anybody can use in their life. When we get... One of the ways in which we can get people to follow what we want them to do is to get truly excited about something. You know, when you're truly excited about something, somebody else gets excited about it as well. If you're truly confident within a certain product, if you're a salesperson and you're confident about your product and you know your product so well, you are influencing the person in front of you to believe in your product too. Because if you're not confident as a salesperson, do you want to buy from that salesperson? No. But when the person's confident, he knows what he's talking about. Even if he says you can go and have a look to see if anybody has got a better deal, no problem. You probably want to buy from that guy because of his level of service. That's all that influence is. Influence is about being certain about what you believe in. Influence is about being likable. People liking you, and they like people who are certain, people who are warm, who are friendly.
There's a very famous book by Robert Cialdini called Influence.
Yeah.
It was actually a required reading when I was doing my psychology undergrad.
Okay.
And it was part of our social psychology reading material. I have read that book once every 5 years since 20 years. So I've read it 4 times. And it's exactly that. It's the principles of persuasion and influence. And, you know, you're right. I think at the end of the day, the likability, the connection, that is the most important thing.
That's the most important.
But it still doesn't explain how you pull this off. Because as much as I like you, this is something you extracted from the mind.
Exactly.
So I don't know. That does not come from influence.
No,
It comes from a third.
this is more of an intuition.
But that is very detailed. That's amazing. Amazing. This was such a pleasure, Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for opening my mind. I learned a lot. I am still in disbelief that this is possible, but it is. And I wish you all the best during
Thank you
your
very
trip
much.
to Karachi and in meeting people. And I hope you're able to convert more people into believers, into the into the power of self-belief, into the power of intuition, into the power of manifestation. Because I think that, like you said, I'm a believer that if you've believed it, it will happen.
Definitely.
And that's it.
That's the absolute truth.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in to Digitales. Like, subscribe, comment, and see you next week. Bye-bye.